1930 hanggang 1939. Those were the years nga very hard iti chimp iti Europe, especially in the Jewish tribe. It was a hard time kanyada when Hitler proclaimed the World War II. People are dying, children are dying, and there's no safety in the world. Especially to the Jews, turay dagit yung ubing, kung nata yung though in their age na ubing daman lang. There was a great complaint, there was a great shout, ngani. Dagit yung ubing that they're being killed brutally. And the pinaka-worst that many of them they use them as their they use them for their experiment. They slice the children in the hospitals for the purpose ng advanced na iti medicine. Kasi ng Ethiopia. There was a great cry. Yet there was a man who saw this brutality ng kakastada Hitler. His name is Nicholas Winston. Na napintas itisahan natin gobyerno, ada na kita mamuna iti government. Where when he saw the little children brutally murdered by the people, by the soldiers and by the doctors for experiments, he had a burden nga enkarga na dagito iti train. He talked to the parents, kung ano iti parents, for the safety of your children, I would like alahan dagiti ubing yun, dagiti pan ko isuda dito Bolivia. Since the government in Bolivia has opened their country for the safety dagiti Jewish people, ipalubos yung kanina, dagiti na kayo nga mamama kananan ang tatatang alat dagiti anak yun. Kaya pan ko isu-isu day jay, Taiwan na dagiti tatao jay. Ang tayo madanagan, I will do the best that I can. Gampayadak dagiti tatao mang aywan dagiti anak yun. Rest assured, aywanan nyo ti bagyo. Karkaro dagiti anak kayo, bahala kang mangkita kanyada. So he took pictures and documents dagiti ubing. Itulugan na isuda iti train. The parents are crying, even the children are crying, just like the erin dagiti babies nga dagitoy. Panda jay Bolivia. And he talked to the dagiti family jay nga mabaling kadi nga alaan nyo na ito, adaptaran nyo na ito. Uri silduak na kayo, aywanan nyo lang dagiti tatama rito. And it was recorded that there are 669 children, Jewish children, nga naipanajay. For 50 years, nobody known jay narami na. Nobody had known jay narami na. For 50 years, it was a silent move because it is against jay narami ni Hitler. Jay plano ni Hitler ni. And mabutang isuna nga ada ti mapasamak kanya na kan iti bakat na kan ti pamilya na. But all the documents that has been gathered nga magaputi families tapno hanga may awan dagiti ubing kan sino dagi nagadaptar dagiti ubing. Induduli na di atik na. Later after 70 years. After 70 years. May sanga news program, the BBC, it was called the BBC. It was in 1988. They invited Isuna to be there in a station and they would interview him. And they asked him many things and malagip po kanila ito yung picture that ubing. Yeah, ako malagip. Kalakayan, he was already in the 90s na. 80s siguro kasi dyan, tayo di 2003 na tayo Isuna. And 160 taon na. So that was 1988, so probably 80s. And malagay mo kanina giting ubing, giting picture na. Ni apay nga iparwar na apay nga ada kada kayo. And ito di bakat mo na gito eh. Malagay mo kanina giting picture. So kikita na dagi audience. Ana mo dagi audience nang babakat damatan lulula na. And kung na ipakita na dagi may isang ubing just like iniside in itsura na tawon na siguro di eh. Malagip mo kanina ito yung ubing, kastoy. Kung malagip, kuna na ito yung interview. kita ambit na data kanigin mo. Iso na rin ta. Hindi kita na niya kanigin na. He was so happy. And later on, si kagahan Joby. Nga in rescue na ini. Then later on, the host, the news, the anchor, the nag-interview kanya na sino pa kada kayo iti adat to nga in rescue nga natulungan nga malagip yung natulungan na ng Mr. Nicholas Newton. And all the old people pala, the aming audience na kakakadwa na yung stadium nga diya. The studio nga diya. All of them are the children whom he had rescued from the Nazi cruelty and brutality. And the magin na naman lagi ubing na tayo na hindi na they're already grandparents, 70 years then. They asked how many people na rescue na visible na recorded. And they found out that there are 669 Jewish children rescued by this man. And he never known dagiti ubing na ito yun. Nagbirok so natin mag-support kanyada, pero tiktaran na iso na, yung karkarigatan na nagbirok iti mag-sponsor kanyada to feed dagiti ubing na dagitoy. And not knowingly, because of that effort, many children, Jewish children, was preserved. Well, this morning, ti pagtutungtungan tayo is all about this. I would like to tell you this morning that there is a calling that God has given you. And I would like to say that in reference to our name, to the clarion call, God has called you, graciously called you in the ministry of snatching people from the mouth of hell. Let me tell you this morning that God has called you to be a firefighter of hell. So the message, iti ulo ti mensahe ti para kayo this morning is this. The firefighters of hell. And if yung verse nga lang tayo natangag sapa, I would just like tuloy di series tayo. It's been a long time, 2 months ka na cut off dito eh. Ang sapay nga 2 months, 3 months sapay. What I would like tuloy for this time to remind you of the call that God has given each one of us dito nga sapa. In verse 23, kung na verse 23 ti Jude, and others saved with fear, pulling them out of the fire. Verse 22, so titinatag mi di ones, they permitting. But for now, here is the verse where we are going to learn naaralan tayo, nakarit ka na tayo this morning. The worst calamity that will ever happen to man and to anyone is yamakuran iti balay. We don't like it. Okay lang, ada the earthquake, okay lang, ada the flood, but when it comes to fire, salikwa tayo and possessions tayo kat mapuran, we don't like it because our pulos mabati. Kaya basit di flood, dapat lang mabati yung nagtibalay, mabalin pa lang may simpa. But when it comes to kuna tayo nga having a possession and it will be burned up, that is a hard thing na akseptaran iti may tao. I remember a man who was working in the abroad, being interviewed in the news, and for 20 years nga nagapu di abroad. Then later on, nagawin ni Suna thinking, aggressive Suna, he could spend his time iti family na. Then later on, there was a calamity that happened. There was a tragedy that happened iti family na. All their possessions, all the iti urnong that it was burned. And he was crying. He interviewed him. He was kitang titsura ni Jilakay. 20 years nga tawanak niya po. Nagrigatak niya for my family, for my children, and everything is lost. Okay lang, ma-flood iti balay. Okay lang, manyate calamity nga may diay. Hala nga na ito, but it happened to us. Sayang niya rigat. He was crying because of that loss that he has. My brothers in the Lord, I would like to tell you that you are a firefighters of hell. That is a call nga amin nga tao tutnay ka. And yet it must not be taken for granted. And as a firefighter of hell, there is a responsibility that we are to take. As Apo lamutay mo, as a fireman iti Apo, there are things that we must know. At mamutay, marami tayo obligasyon tayo as God's fireman. And may isang obligasyon tayo dito is this. And I would like to say, identify the devil's victims. You must learn how to identify the devil's victims. In verse 23, and others, referring to some people. In verse 22, it refers to the doubters. Dagitoy Christians who fell, nagbalinda nga biktima iti diablo, who were trapped by the devil's temptation, by the devil's snare. Nagbalinda nga biktima, and probably iti daduma in their laziness, nagbalin nga saludda iti pamati, handa nga nag-grow. So, the Bible said they called them as the doubters. And these are the people, identification tita tao nga masapol tuluan tayo. Pagdara niya verse 23, there's a change of object. Nga makita tayo ay people that we are also need, that it is also very important kada tayo, may kanti attention. And the Bible said, these are the unbelievers and others. We must know how to identify these people. Well, in the context of this verse, could you just imagine the church, Chimpo ni Jude, where a lot of Christians are gathering in a Bible study, a lot of Christians are gathering, iti ko natin a church service, and yet, ano gayong kanya na katangapudpudno ng Krisyano? Could you just imagine, some of them are there, claiming to be Christians, claiming to be followers of the Lord Jesus Christ, and yet the problem was in their lives, katawan di change. The Bible said these are apostates, non-Christians, temporal Christians, hangapudpudno Krisyano. Could you just imagine the tragedy that is happening iti unag iti church nga ito nga in-address ni Jude? The focus ko mati evangelism kat it should be outside, right? Nang makita ni Jude, ada nagay umay iti unag iti church nga ito, but the problem was this. The unbelievers, they went inside the church. They identified themselves as Christians. They claim themselves to be God's sheep, but there is a real problem. They are not really God's sheep. They are not really Christians. Nagbigat diyan. Church has been a place where apostates are born in the time of Jude, and that's a hard thing to swallow. The church should be a place where Christians ano dagiti makamamu kini Kristo Jesus. But seemingly, tinangyari dito, there was a change that has caused iti heart ni Jude na iti palalo nga concern. A concern that it seems, imbis nga iti church, iti mangwiwin iti souls, the church, iti pakainakan ko maiti adong makamamukan ni Kristo Jesus, it seems, iti church nga yan tagata, isumutan din nagbaling nga pakainanakan iti apostates. That's a hard thing that broke the heart. Well, there are Christians at these times, ano na kay Kristiyano, but the problem at this moment, iti Chimpo ni Jude, kat naglaks na iti faith na. That's why there was an exhortation in verse 3 to contend for the faith. The Christians are there in the church, thinking ijay mission ijay outside, that they fail to see that it's inside nga mas hapon mat nga kitanda. They have been busy probably looking at the missions outside, but they fail a very important place where they should also protect, and that is inside. Dagiti tattao nga mangingan unity church. There are some people being gathered inside the church. Handa ka nga pudpudong Kristiyan. Kapudbutan nga. When I am reminded iti book iti Matthew chapter 7 verse 21. In the book of Matthew chapter 7 verse 21. Already Jesus Christ, even the Lord Jesus Christ, gave this warning concerning the false teachers. Remember the religious teachers here at this time, they believe that their faith is true. Remember, nga Chimpo, they claim to be the true people of the Lord, the true teachers of God's word, but later on, well, they were there sitting and standing before Christ, before the Lord Jesus Christ. Jesus made a statement and he said, "Not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord." Remember, the audience na dito ikat religious leaders. It was a great concern ni Christ Jesus where people in his time were so-called religious, but the problem kat inga na lang iwat. The Bible said, they called him Lord, Lord, but God said, "Not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven." Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in your name? And in your name have cast out devils, and in your name have done many wonderful works. And then I will profess, kunani Kristo, I will profess unto them, I never knew you, depart from me, you that work iniquity. Could you see that tragedy? And isn't it, isut imang mangyari that word? And what generation could you find thousands and hundreds of churches which has, kung tayo nga dati freedom ng mangitong lang di churches, iti panahon na. It is only in our time. We are in a generation where every barangay, kitano kat dati churches established. But the worst is, kung ni Kristo Jesus, not every one of them, not every people, not even one of the preachers, many of them later on will stand up before the Lord. They will be rebuked by the Lord, but they will never enter into the kingdom of heaven. The worst is, it is happening right now. A lot of people will say and would believe that they have known the Lord, they have known the Lord Jesus Christ. But the Bible said that is never a guarantee. Do you remember the story of the parable of the soils? Well, that story was not intended tap nagbalintang nga nasilip nga gardinero. But the story was given because of the reason nga ano nagiti false Christians ini, and Christ would like them to see and realize nga ano nagiti false Christians, which represents the other soils, malaksin jay good soil. Do you remember the parable of the wheat and the tares? Dati may isa nga nag-garden, baw na nagiti plantis ng garden, and later on, ada nagiti infiltrators nga napan, nagmula ti tares, marapagay. And later on, kung natisaw ti Apo, the Bible said, there was a sabotage. Dinalpas na nga nagmula iti pagay. Someone spread iti seeds iti marapagay. And later on, dumaktak naging pagay, and they saw the difference nga ni makita na adat nagmula, adat nagsalisi ka datay. And that story was given to show us that in the church, adu nagiti hana put nga wheat, but adu nagiti Kristiyano nga tisang manan iti Apo kat marapagay dati isang manan ti Apo. Do you even remember the 1 Corinthians chapter 2 verse 14, where the Apostle Pablo that he distinguished the talo nga klase nga tao, natural man, the carnal, and the spiritual man. Alawag na kunan Apostle Pablo, the natural man, very obviously biyag nung pinaka-word si Jai, katay ti carnal nga dahito. I would like to tell you that these carnal people are not Christians. This is a doctrine that has demolished and that has destroyed the doctrine of conversion, the doctrine of regeneration, nga mabaling nga ti Kristiyano katagbibiyag nga nga naisulakan. Ang mabaling din dyan. Sumako na Apostol Pablo, are you not men? Are you not natural man? Ngawan ti Espiritu ti Diyos. Hanggang nga naisalakan! Kung na Apostol Pablo kanila. A tragedy that has crept in uray pa di unang integrated church. Do you remember the Simon the sorcerer, if you accept right? When he saw Philip, the evangelist, and the miracles, kinapasama kay Samaria, and he believed also, he started to follow them. Bible study na. He attended the Bible study. He regularly attended the services, even to the point of being baptized. Yet later on, it was proven that Simon the sorcerer is not a genuine believer. False Christians creeping inside and polluting the people of the Lord. Wearing ibadbado na itibado di anak ni Apo. But actually, they are not really Christians. The worst is Judas. The Bible said he was with Jesus for 3 years. And yet Jesus said, one of you is a devil. referring to this. The point nga katungadalan tayo dito nga agsapa is this. Could you see that iti biktima iti jablo iti unang iti church and even inside your family? They are the people whom God has given us a challenge and kunatay nga mandate to rescue. Dagito iti tattao nga mas hapol apan tayo danunan. Dagiti anak tayo. Dagiti auntie tayo. Your loved ones, your schoolmates, your workmates. Let me remind you this. They are your mission field. And as a fireman, God's fireman, I would like to remind you to be faithful in your mandate. Okay? Secondly, Panday ni Jude. The second thing in Matthew 32 ket kastoy. And I would like you to see. And others, referring to the victims. Yes. The devil has a victims and he is pulling them and going in what it apoy timpir. Well, these people thought it is okay. These people are enjoying being pulled by the devil. Iwa timpierno. Tinadumagat awan pakialamdan. And they're even boasting iti kawar iti jablo nga reliyon. Aramid na. But they're surely going. Iwa timpierno. But secondly, I would like to point iti panunot yung katitoy. And others save with fear. As a fireman, there's also another instruction that was given to us, and that is, as we go there, we should put in our minds, in our hearts, that is second instruction, to be extra careful in your burden of reaching or rescuing these people. To be extra careful in your burden of rescuing these people. I would like to tell you this morning that the burning passion for God and for soul is also the same thing that will quench the fire of hell. Save with fear. Ano na gaya ko natin yung nag-rescue iti apoy, but later on, nag-rescue ng fireman at nagbalim na ng biktima. They have their burden to save the people which is inside the building, but in their carelessness, some of them, they've been a victim, so that tinapulong kan so that tinapuran nila. I am reminded of Moses and his burden to rescue his people from the Egyptians. He tried to save his people in his own way. He has the burden. He has the heart for the people. He is willing to lay down his position for his people. But later on, in his unwise decisions, untamed burden, untamed passion, isumatlaan tinanggadal. My brothers, why do we need to be extra careful in our burden for reaching these people? You know why? It is because of this. Lest you yourselves are in the same situation. Siputan tayo, kan kitaan tayo, dahil nga ba, nagkapusta, baka pati siya, kat hangkadik ka, baka uray siya, kat hanga na isalakan. I am reminded ito in Acts chapter 19, verse 11 to 17. There were priests there. When they heard what the Apostle Paul did, they would also like to follow, and they went apan kinita timay sa manaluganan ti Diablo di barangay da. Just for the sake nga agbalindamat nga sikat nga hanang nga ni Apostol Pablo takin kaya diay uray isuda nga pa di ket kaya damot nga ag-exorcise. Katan ti Diablo. So in the burden to do that, they went iti may sa nga balay nga amuda nga naluganan. And when they were there, kunada itinagan ni Apo Diyos ni Pablo in the name Ti Dios ngay kasama ni Pablo na Jesucristo. Umikat ka dita nga tao. And then the devil spoke through that man and he said, I know Jesus ngay kasama ni Pablo, and I know Paul. Sino kayo? Ay maramdamay bis nga tumaray pumano di Diablo. He ran after the priest, pinisang-pisang na bulong-bulong na isuda, kinamat-kamat na. And probably natin kasta na, barsak na siguro itong nagitibalay. And napisang-pisang tibado na. Dakkel na kamali. They like to rescue somebody, but they themselves kat anak ni Diablo. Do you remember also the same situation? Acts chapter 16, verse 16 to 24. Well, there was a slave girl, ngay sunat at mamuday di lugar tayo diyan nga chimpo. And she was known for di ko natay nga fortune teller. And when later on, may Apostol Pablo, he was trying to reach the community. And here was a young girl saying, "Dagitoy ti anak ni Apo Dios, anipon ni Apo Dios." And imayda nga ibingay kadatay ti minsay ti panakasalakan. Could you just imagine that the devil is preaching Jesus and he is even working as an usher for the gospel, for the Bible studies? Umay kayo, tag-Bible study kayo. Daytoy ni Pablo nga anipon ti Apo Dios. Iti kasabada kat ni Kristo kat pudpudlo. He has the right message. Kasla nga mayat niya. Di chimpo na Apostol Pablo, halang nga masablo nga agawi si sunat ti karong ba, adang tagpukpukaw jegit ni Pastor Santos nga kuna, umay kayo, dagitoy tani pon ni Apo, ikas kasabada ti pudpudo nga minsay. There is a problem. Nagbaling nga anoy nga nasakit tilapayag nga hangos turito. I will never compromise and I will never hold hand in hand with the devil in doing the work of the Lord. Han nga mabaling. Could you see the point nga kat mo adalan tagatan? In the ministry of rescuing the people, there are a lot of people who has the burden, but actually isuda nga mismo kat awan haanda nga pudpudno nga naisalakan. Makita to isuda nga kay wala nga mangiwaras-waras ti pampulat tayo. They said, daytoy ti pudpudno, daytoy ti mangisalakan, but actually they themselves kat handa nga naisalakan. And it is a warning kada tayo nga uray pa kanya mga Kristiyano, haan nga mabaling nga kumbinsaram ni dagitan nak mo, kan ibay nga mo ti panakay salakan dagitan nak mo, kan iti pamilya nga mismo gaya nga sigat at haan ka nga na salakan, eksaminam ti bagim, baka may sakaman nga biktima. Well, it happened to me. I thought I was saved for a long time. I was even baptized as a church member. I was given a responsibility to teach the Bible, to go to the mission field. But actually, in my heart, I am not yet saved. Dahil tatipukaw ni John Wesley, right? He said, one time ni John Wesley, napanak iti may isang lugar to do the mission. To share the gospel, to tell them the truth. But deep within my heart, ang mukha dati problema, siya mismo hanap ka na salakan. Missionary, yet he is not yet saved. As a fireman, no wonder kunanapos ni Jude, save with fear. Be careful in doing these things. You examine first yourself. Baka in your burden, you have the burden just like the burden of the coats. But deep within, mismo nga sigat at hanggang nga naisalakan. Why do I need to be extra careful? Lest it is 32nd. It is lest you fall to sin that you are condemning. You be very careful in your burden of rescuing them, lest you fall to the sin that you are condemning. In rescuing these people, in pointing them out of the mouth of hell, we beg them, ibabawi iti basol. But as we do this responsibility, as we do our responsibility as God's fireman, kitaan tayo, tabaka mabalin nga, as we do these things, dahil di basol nga po na tayo, may kung-condemn tayo, usaran nuklaan ti Diablo nga, ar-aramidin tayo gayam secretly tibiyag tayo. And how will the Lord use a mouth that is used for the devil? Will the Lord use a mouth that is used for the devil? Will the Lord use a body that is used for the devil for the 5 days? No. So ako na apostol, ako na dahil adi panitia, ako ni Jude, be careful as you do this responsibility, lest you fall in the sins that you condemn. Thirdly, be careful in your burden of preaching them, lest you fall from the devil's retaliation. There is a retaliation. 1 Thessalonians chapter 3, chapter 2, verse 17 to 19, chapter 3, verse 4 to 6. Kung na Apostol Pablo, nagmayat si panagapan ko kada kayo as we do our mission ita Thessalonica, you heard the word of truth, binanon nyo di jay, na magpakpakasya kada kayo, dahil iti may nga concern ko kada kayo. Please, my brothers, I am being burdened nga the devil has tried to hinder us iti panagapan ni kada kayo kung panag-stay ni kada kayo. And in my concern, kung na Apostol Pablo, madanaga na ka, all our labors will be in vain. As we try to reach out these people out from the mouth of hell, would you think the devil will just watch at you, buyaan na ka lang, and he will just, agtatakdar lang niya? No! Surely the devil won't like it. Mapakatitiruturyo na iti aso. Agwala na aking tirituryo dyan ng aso. Una ito pa di honeybee, napakatitirituryo na, you try to touch their house, and panangkita na, kaslak, may sakang threat, they will retaliate. As we do our best, as we do our part, to be God's fireman, that is the calling to tiyapo. Kung iti sa tiyapo, watch yourself. Why? Because surely the devil won't like it. He will retaliate. And for the rebels, that's a very good word for them to retaliate. For the devil, that's the main thing that the devil likes to do. He will retaliate. Babaling nga kanya, babaling nga tiyanak mo, babaling nga nagitaya kang itibiyang mo. And that's my prayer. Kunak kanya po, Lord, how many times every time I do the work, and many times the devil would try to retaliate. Karong tinapalpalabas when I was in Sagada. What I did balay na dumakat at datay makita, and kunak lang kanya po, Lord, I just pray, uray kanyak lang di. Tunggal lang itijablo nga na pakibiyang at anak. The devil won't like it. That's why kunati sa tiyapo, say with fear. You go there, but remember, you go there with fear, with cause, with a heart of alertness, the caution, a carefulness. My brothers, be extra careful in your burden of reaching these people. Lastly, lest you fall from unwise handling of your burden. Lest you fall from unwise handling of your burden. The Bible said, be harmless as a dove, but wise as a serpent.